Hi guys, welcome to Hannah's Backyard. So it is just after the 4th of July weekend, so the first full week of July, and I figured I would run you through the garden. I have to weed it, so I'll show you what it looks like before and after. We have been getting tons of rain, so I guess not like other people are getting hit harder around me, but we're getting just enough that I don't have to water and everything seems to be going really well. But the weeds are still coming. So everything is growing. And the 4th of July weekend, we usually don't, well, we do usually go places, but when you come back from a weekend in July, it's just like, oh my gosh, everything has changed so much and is out of control. So I have tons of pruning to do on these tomatoes, a lot of weeding, kind of go through my zucchini, see if I can find squash bugs, and I have some cauliflower that needs to be picked, and I grew a whole bunch so I could not just eat it fresh but to freeze it. And then I also have some broccoli that I have to take out. I want to start a whole new round of that, so I'm going to keep a couple so I can cut little pieces off of it here and there, but I'm going to pretty much cut everything off of that so I can get that frozen as well. So we have a whole day in the garden, probably not a whole day, but a couple hours, and then the rest of the time we'll be in the house processing all the food. Sorry about the traffic. But processing all the food that we had picked, and then weeding it and making it look nice and keeping the ground's being covered really well. This is the most compact I've ever planted anything, and I'm not liking some of the things. I can't walk through everything. Don't like that very much. But otherwise, it's a lot less weedy. So let's get going, and we'll see you when we're all done. Okay, so here is just a quick before. Here's the potatoes, and then we have some of the cucumbers in the corn section, and you can see here there's not a lot of weeds because of how thick everything is. And then the tomatoes and the pepper section, you can see the weeds. It's not awful, but if I were to let that go another week, everything would be huge and I would be a lot harder to keep up and get it looking nice again. So weekly it is. So let's go do this. Okay, so here you can see I'm just using the stirrup hoe, going through kind of loosening things up. I wasn't too worried about the corn because the corn's pretty tall right now, so I just kind of went through and hoed that quick. Now, the onions were a different story. I had to weed in between by hand just because I didn't want to damage any of the bulbs. But so I just kind of go back and forth, pull all the stuff in between, and then I'll take the stirrup hoe and go through that. The soil this year is just so amazing. I've been walking on it barefoot, and it almost feels like carpet. It's soft, and it breaks up really easy, so it's making the hoeing and cleaning really simple. So that's the section I did for you guys. Okay, so I got it weeded. I didn't do the best job like I did last time, but it's looking really good. Things are getting bigger now, so weed competition isn't all that bad. But there's like no weeds over there because everything's touching. There's barely any ground that can be seen. And I've actually have taken a little bit of what Jess from Roots and Refuge Farm says about Mother Earth, nature. Maybe it's Mother Earth, maybe that's what she says. But anyway, the earth likes to be covered. So I've been taking that to heart, and that's why everything's clumped so close this year. But anyway, so I was in here cleaning out some of this broccoli because most of it bolted. I did leave these plants because they're still putting off some pretty nice side shoots, as you can see. And I figured I'd show you this. My cauliflower is all ready, so I pulled the plants off, and now I'm going to come in and cut all these heads. But look at this one. Hold on, let me just go in there. Okay, so basically I'm planning on doing a reset in here. I'm going to keep all the Brussels sprouts, but I want to clean up around them and kind of clean some of these lower leaves off. But yeah, this one, it's like almost perfectly half and half of, like, there was more white. It's getting more purple on it though. So, but these are still my favorite. They grow so nice. This is the cheddar. This one's pretty nice. I think that one maybe could have went a little bit longer, but I'm gonna cut these off the plant and I'm gonna freeze them is what I'm gonna do. And then I'm gonna start a second batch of broccoli and cauliflower, but I'm only gonna do one row through here, not staggered like I did, because it got to be a little bit too close. And then these are the Brussels sprouts. I pulled off some of these branches so I can finally see in here. So I think I'm gonna come and do that so I can actually see them, see what we got going on. But yeah. So anyway, the corn is looking really nice. Yeah, we're starting to get some little ears on it. And the tassels. So the tomatoes, I did trim them up too while I was weeding. So they might look a little bit thinner. Oh, actually I did not do this row yet. Darn it, forgot about that. These peppers are looking amazing. Everything's so big and lush this year. I do think we really hit it pretty hard with a lot of manure, so there might be a little higher nitrogen, but I think that's okay. I will still get plenty of harvest off of everything. You can see these are the California Wonders, and then these are just Purple Beauties, Blot, I think, banana peppers, and Tangerine Dream. But I didn't top these. That one I did on accident, which is fine. I don't mind topping them. And these over here, I topped like every other one. So you can kind of see that. So yeah. The lettuce is still cranking. I just keep cutting it, and when I see it starting to bolt, I pull that plant. Carrots are looking really good. I'm loving my random sunflowers now, and now I started pruning them. I don't know if I should or not, but I want them up above the tomatoes, so I'm pulling off all the lower ones, and hopefully it'll just keep growing taller. Instead of it looking like this bush, you know, they look just with a straight, like a tree almost, you know. So I might start doing that to these because of the Swiss chard in here. Okay, so it is the evening. Look at these onions this week. Now last week they weren't bulbing up at all, but now you can see that they are starting to bulb up. I thought, man, just when I feel like I did something today, then I realized I have humongous cabbages to take care of yet. My okra, that's doing really good. It's finally like starting to take off. You can see it's got a little where the flowers are gonna be. It's doing good. The kale's a mess. This basil, man, this smells incredible here, especially that lime basil. And then I got the romaine lettuce, and you can see I'm actually getting some pretty nice heads of romaine here. Yeah, so the 3 different types of basil, and then I have one coming up there, which I'm gonna leave it because eventually I'll be pulling out this lettuce. The tomatoes, I did give them a really good trim. This watermelon took off this weekend. It was unbelievable. I was gone for 4 days and I come back and it's just insane. Got some cauliflower in here that's still not doing anything, so I don't know if it will. So tomatoes. And then all of these tomatoes and the basil, they're looking really good. I'm about ready to get some blooms on these zinnias here. This is just incredible. There's so much zucchini here, plant-wise, but the harvest has been slow, which is actually good. And the squash bugs are getting a little bit worse, so eventually I'll probably have to start weeding this out, or take out the plants that are bad. But this is literally a 10 by 10 section. I think it's unbelievably huge. The corn is tasseling and getting ears on it. I'm kind of excited about the sunflowers in here. Not so much the cabbages. It's really hard for me to get in there, so I'm not liking that. So as soon as they're done, the cabbages and stuff, I'm pulling them and getting them out. But it worked for the time being. And the cucumbers are finally deciding to grow. They're so far behind, but it's okay. And I have gotten a couple of these honeycomb cherry tomatoes. They are delicious, and the plants are just growing insane. The potatoes, they're still tall. I am now seeing a few, oops, I just lost that one, of the potato bugs. So I hope, they flowered a couple weeks ago. There's still a couple flowers on them, but I hope the majority of the plant is still going to be okay and the bugs don't take over. But yeah, you can see here they are all over. It just apparently was a matter of time, I guess. So I'm not happiest about it, but what else can you do? That's all I can do. And my sunflowers are growing really nice. And then the garlic, it's starting to die back. We're on the bottom leaf. And I cut scapes, but apparently I missed a whole bunch. So we'll have to get those yet. But yeah, there she is. I am pretty impressed this year with how close I put everything and how it's growing and keeping the soil covered. You can see I didn't really weed in there, but there's not much soil that can see light, because of how dense everything is. So I am happy that I was able to do that. So, yeah. Now let's head out to the back bed. Okay, so here is the back bed. It's starting to really get pretty. My zinnias are starting to flower. The calendula, look how beautiful with the bachelor buttons, the blue and the orange. Oh my goodness. These asters haven't flowered yet, but they're getting there. The dill, it's coming. A couple more weeds in there that I didn't get to yet. The morning glories are finally starting to kind of want to vine. And my loofah is doing quite a bit more than it was. More flowers and onions, and then the watermelon here. Along with on the inside, I have marigolds, hoping to keep it moist down in there. So, because watermelon, they like water. So, and then the pumpkin really took off this week. Just saw this. I'm gonna pull that weed. Random marigolds and other wildflowers. I'm pretty sure they're all marigolds. And then all the mystery watermelon. Not sure what kind, and I don't think I'm gonna figure that out until it pops up. But anyway, I'm not doing the best at weeding this. Sorry, I was weeding with you in my hands. But it's gonna grow. And then here I have the peanuts. They're getting bigger, but man, these are slow. I don't think I picked the right spot for them, but anyway. Some little sunflowers. I am looking forward to when this is all full. Okay, this is getting there. The flowers are exactly what I thought. It's really pretty. Eventually, this whole area would be beautiful as cut flowers, but we just haven't. One step at a time. So yeah, so that is the garden update. Everything is growing. We got lots of rain and everything's looking pretty good. Good harvesting. So I will see you guys in another week, I suppose. Okay, well, thank you guys for following along. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel, and we will see you next week. Bye, guys.